everybody. Topic du jour, as Mr. Michael would say, is AI and SEO and all kinds of fun stuff with that. And so that's what we're going to talk about because it's on all of your minds. We're going to talk all things fun, healthcare market, AI, SEO. Mr. Michael, welcome to Ignite.
Thanks very much, Alex. Looking forward to chatting.
Where in the world do you live and where are you going tomorrow?
Currently, I live in Baltimore, Maryland. And just after this call is over, I'm off to New York City for the weekend with my sons.
New York City. Are you guys going to see Hamilton? What are we doing?
We're going to go see museums. We're going to eat a lot of food, that kind of thing. Central Park, that kind of thing. I've got a friend in Brooklyn, so I'm going to hang out with him as well.
All right, cool. The cool part of town. My mom's from Brooklyn. All right, that's fun. Where do you work? What do you do?
So I work in a large nonprofit mental health institution in Baltimore. I do SEO and CRM, and I've been working in the mental health field for, I think, about 4 or 5 years now. Mental health and physical health. It's a weird topic, mental health, because I just think of it as health. It's like all health. But yeah, mental health primarily.
Now it's what we think of as all health, but the stigma is there from 2020. Yeah, well, and it's dissipating a little bit. 2020 really hell with COVID, and everybody was like, oh shit, we are going crazy in our houses. Mental health is health. And so anyways, you are working a noble cause. What have you seen? How AI is changed? I mean, dude, we just put out July. This is July. This is filmed in July, everybody. And there was just a big core update, and we're scrambling. We're getting content out there, and AI is taking more and more of the stuff of search traffic. What are you seeing happening right now? What are you adapting to? And are you scared? No,
actually, I'm not scared at all. I kind of think of like AI as this sort of, battle of the dinosaurs. It's Google against OpenAI. And I just, like for the general consumer, I think a lot of things will suck. I think that web searches are going to get horrendously worse. I mean, they're bad.
Why?
I think that it's already a zero-click world, right? You can get any answer you want just by putting a query to Google, and it'll serve up its own version of it. You don't have to go to the site itself. And I think like ChatGPT, once they come out with their browser, it's going to be worse. It'll be not only zero-click, it'll be like a -1 click, meaning that it'll pull everything and put it in a pre-digested answer for you. And I just don't think that is like AI is, I think it can be a useful tool, but you really have to know what you're doing with it. Like you really have to know what the question is before you ask the question. I think for a lot of people, when it comes to asking questions about health and mental health, they don't know what they're asking necessarily. And so I think there's a distinct possibility that they will get bad information, poor information, information they can't act on. I was thinking about this the other day. Like there are a couple of big sites that pull all the, it's the Jupiter of SEO for healthcare. The
Mayo, Cleveland.
Like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you actually look at some of the stuff that they have, it's just spam, You've got an itchy patch on your arm, right? And so you say itchy patch on arm, and you go to the Mayo Clinic, and they're like, what possible cancers could this be? That's as bad as anything OpenAI could send out. Like if it's this giant net that captures absolutely everything, then what's the point of SEO in that, for that? So I'm not worried about it, because I think that as long as you write content that is authority, trust, like all that stuff again. And if it's helpful, then people will find it. Because I don't think AI is going to pull in the helpful stuff initially. And maybe 4 years from now, who knows? But in the next 6 months, I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah. I don't think it's replacing it. And that is an interesting take, that it's really all pulling from a couple main sites. And so we are all what's happening is we are not now clicking through 3 or 4 websites to learn for ourselves what Mayo Cleveland, my local itchy arm doctor, is thinking and stuff. We're just like, whatever, they said it. And I have seen this. It is making us dumber. And there's tons of studies about how chat is making us dumber. And so is AI overviews, because we're not thinking. There's no critical thinking anymore. You know what I've noticed myself, Michael, is we get leads in from onesie twosie doctors, not even like a large provider group or anything. And they're like, hey, we'd love to have your help, Cardinal. And it's like, and it says in the source, they put in ChatGPT, and it's like, we clearly, no part of our branding, marketing, messaging on the website, even in the drop-down form says you have to have at least 50K. Everyone is taking ChatGPT suggestions at face value and going with that. It is making everybody dumb.
And it's kind of a knee-jerk kind of thing. Yeah.
It is kind of interesting. You can see like it is going to transform the world and help the world, but right now it's not. And so, okay, let's talk practically about this. Still great content. You got to create it. Would you, for your group, are you still creating upper funnel content? Are you just doing it to help convince the patient that you guys are the right joint to go to? Is it worth provider groups spending time on it, or just focus on the lead driving stuff like X doctor near me or surgeon or whatever?
I think you got to do both, because, it's kind of like the Google review of of your website. If you've got good SEO content, it's all very well to say doctor near me and you see a doctor near you. I guess it really depends on the intent of the search. If it were me and if I had to see a doctor for my kids, if it's an emergency doctor, you just do that, right? But if it's a long-term kind of thing, you want to make sure that you're going to the right person. You want to have a good fit, particularly in mental health. Good fit is everything, right? And so I think that it's all very well to optimize for lead gen and conversion and that kind of stuff. But I think this is another Google concept, which I think is fantastic, is ZMOT.
What's that?
Zero moment of truth. And they talked about the shopping experience specifically, but I think it applies to this as well. That previously, before the internet, you would go to a big store and look at a TV and look at other TVs and that kind of stuff. Whereas now, you do that all before you even go anywhere. And you may not even end up at the big store. You may just order it online. But the idea is that once you actually make the decision, you've already done the work. So that's the zero moment of truth. And so for me, and for the people I work with, I want to make sure that you have that stuff there. I don't believe that people are just going to ChatGPT and Google, for search. I think when it comes to mental health, you actually go that extra mile to find out, because it is, it's arguably mental health is a chronic condition as opposed to an acute condition. There can be acute things happening, someone might have a...
I'm with you. It's ongoing. It's to prevent the problem, not to cure it.
Yeah. And maybe cure is the wrong term. We can get into that some other, discussion.
But dude, we've had clients in the past, and not my favorite clients. They said, you should only be here for a month and be seen X times, and then you should be good to go. I'm like, that's not how this works, guys.
No. Yeah, and it doesn't mean you have to be there 2 times a week or anything like that, but it should, you should check in, you should do all sorts of things. Yeah, totally agree. So
they've all done their research and they kind of know. So how do you influence the ZMA, how showing up as many times as you can in as many searches?
For instance, prior to working where I currently worked, I worked for a small mental health clinic, and they had a DBT, a dialectical behavioral therapy program, right? It's kind of like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, but
I've done that one.
Hardcore. DBT is it's serious stuff. It's basically behavioral training. It's not like it's but they have acronyms and that kind of stuff. Okay. CBT doesn't. So anyway, I ranked them across the board for DBT within 6 months. And this is post AI, but not the current, AI.
But nobody's searching for it. Are people searching for DBT? They are. And did you say you ranked them low?
If you are in a very specific circumstance and you tried everything and you need that thing, then you will be looking for those things. I think that if you go for mental health near me, that's such a catch-all. And I think that that's probably where people start, but it evolves. If you don't get the treatment that you need. And also I think that Google and probably OpenAI are aware enough that if you put in DBT, it means mental health. And I think that the search engines are just as interested in providing interesting results as they are providing the result. They say, well, maybe they're thinking about DBT as opposed to just mental health, or maybe this is a thing. The website also had other aspects to it, so it wasn't just DBT. But for a while there, they were getting clients. They were getting people into group. It was working.
You're honing in on something that our head of own in our medium, Rob, has been talking about for a while. Every practice is special in some kind of way. If it's not, it shouldn't be a business and it's not going to grow and no marketing can help it. Yep. Every practice is special. It has a specific service or an NP or a doctor that's special at something, or you really are great at a thing. DBT, TMS, CBT, whatever the acronym is.
Yep.
Hone in on that, because you can't win at everything anymore like you used to with SEO. Build every condition, service, treatment page, and you'd rank for everything. You can't anymore, and they're figuring it out. And you believe that?
I do, actually. And I think that a lot of the traditional SEO practices, making sure that you have location pages for every location, or there's some of the bigger mental health practices. They have, they're nationwide, but they have location pages for every small town in the States. And I just find that
where they do not actually have a location. Yeah, that's bullshit. I mean, that's 2008. Yeah.
But also, I just don't think it's effective, because I think ultimately people will, take something like mental health. You want someone near you. You don't want to be I think telehealth is a good thing, but I don't think it's going to be the be all end all for mental health, because people really like being with people. I think that's a thing. People like being in the presence of other people.
It's a thing.
Right? It's like having a virtual family. No. Despite all the annoyances and hassles.
They've been asking me for that for months.
Dude, I got divorced, so I hear you. But I just think it's ultimately unproductive.
Yeah.
And I think that, but I do agree with you. I don't think that you can just be sort of a Home Depot of mental health. You have to be, I'm the guy that digs the trenches for your main drain, your main sewer kind of thing. Like I do a very specific thing. The guy that I worked for,
and that is the number one thing plumbers want is the trench like sewer repair. I don't care.
I know
it's been a while since I've done plumbing SEO, but I remember it was some kind of thing like that.
Yeah, because it's like in and out in a day, and you're like 20 grand later. Yeah. Like the guy that I worked for, the guy that owns the clinic, he does EDMR, which is
EMDR.
EMDR, that's right, EMDR. Maybe I was thinking about like that kind of thing. And that's really specific. And he charges a premium for it. So I completely agree. I think
you've got something.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily has to be like I'm the expert in this, but it could be like this particular clinician is really patient, or you'd hope they would be, but not necessarily. People aren't necessarily, but like really sort of like maybe just their manner is such that people want to go there.
Yeah. Healthcare marketers, what's up? It's Alex from the future. Guess what? Scaling Up, the Healthcare Performance Marketing Summit is back. Scaling Up is focused entirely on driving patient acquisition to your group. So you're talking the largest provider groups, health system leaders, everything it takes to drive a patient to your practice or health system, from media, BI, analytics, performance creative, SEO, AI, because we've got to have that acronym in there. October 28th and 29th, thousands of healthcare marketers are going to be showing up to this. It's virtual and it is free. That's the best part. Last 2 years, we were charging for it. This year, I want every healthcare marketer to come. We need to connect more patients with care. We all do. We all need to do it together. I'll see you there. Scaling Up. Let's talk location pages for a minute, because that's generally been what drives leads for multi-site provider groups.
Yep.
Is it still? What do you do differently if not?
You have to tie it to local 3-pack and maps and your Google business profile.
Like link them back, link the specific things back.
I don't think it's necessarily link them back, but certainly like if like an omniscient search engine like Google, for instance, looked at your pages and compared it to your Google business profile and say, oh, that's a pretty close match, as opposed to you've got a Google business profile that's in Chicago, but you're covering the entire country. They're like, well, it's not the same kind of thing. Like I do think like mere mortals like us, we don't understand Google, but I do think that within Google, they're going to look at stuff like that. And that's why a lot of those sites show up as paid as opposed to organic, because they can do that, because Google's like, yeah, if you want to do that, pay for it,
Okay. What are you putting on location pages to make them more enticing? I've heard like writing FAQs slightly differently now, so that they like answer the common AI queries.
So
I haven't done it. I don't know. Is that a thing?
Robot.text?
Yeah.
There's now an LLMS.text.
I heard that. And what is the difference?
Well, the idea is that the argument is that it takes a lot of time and energy to go through an entire site as an AI, right? So if you say, hey, AI, here it is, but it's in a single text file, it may, I don't know if it's true or not, but I like the idea, because it is the same sort of thing. It's like just
telling it where to focus.
Yeah, this is what we do. This is what we think you should find out about.
Yeah, so. A lot of the same things apply. I've been relieved over the last month of seeing the AI stuff. I thought it was going to crush SEO, and what I'm realizing is instead of humans going to your website, it's like robots now that are just going to be your agent and come back and say, hey, you have this condition, I know you're worried about this, and you have 3 kids. It's probably going to be the best therapist because of your payer partnerships and stuff like that. Website's still important. SEO is just changing. It's never going to die like they said it.
No, I totally agree. SEO is supposed to have died how many times now? And it's never going to die.
I've owned this for 16 years and it was dead in 2008.
Yeah, right. But I think it gets back to this idea of like content and good content and quality content and authority. Like this is the thing that I think a lot of mental health practitioners have issue with, is because they are experts, they are reluctant to put stuff out there for people to help themselves with. I mean, if you think about any like a checklist that you downloaded and you gave someone an email address for, right? That kind of stuff for, I don't know, building a deck or what have you, like people are used to that now. And I think you could easily do that and without compromising your professional ethics for like DBT checklists. You can get like as I said in my answers, like there are all these clickbait places where you can get this stuff. Yeah. And I don't understand why, if you're a practice, why you would not do that, because someone else is doing it, but they're not qualified, whereas you are, like That's the kind of thing that I don't think you're going to get from AI. I think that like the downloads, the interactions, the CRM aspect of it. Maybe you will. Again, 4 years, who knows? But right now, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it. It lacks in a lot of arenas. And you see, like, when you go to AI, it's just checking the web. And you're like, well, just go do your own research. It is useful. I uploaded my P&L yesterday and said, tell me why expenses are up and where they are and what I should do and stuff. And it gave pretty good. You can see it starting to get there. And I think it said it can make PowerPoints and spreadsheets yesterday. So great. We're all going to be doing spreadsheets through it. Hold on. I want to get back to, I just want to talk about SEO for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Link building, still a thing for multi-site provider group. I know, do you believe in other kinds of things? If you're handed a bunch of money tomorrow, would you put in link building? What would you do?
I wouldn't do link building. I would do PR because I think that's the only link building that's worth anything right now, right? You can get like $100,000 and buy like 200,000 links, but they're meaningless. And whether or not they send the right signal to Google, I don't know anymore. I think that it's probably figured that out. But I think that I know Help a Reporter Out is gone now. It's turned into something else. Too bad.
Hero's gone. I used to love answering those.
Right? But I think those kind of things, like to me, it would be PR primarily.
Yeah.
And local, and specifically local PR.
Yeah.
And moreover, it would be, but again, this is sort of, this is the dilemma for practices. They don't have someone doing PR full time. They don't have someone doing, marketing full time, let alone knowing what SEO is and how it can actually affect their business. Mm-hmm. And so the hard thing is to go to them and say, like, I think radio would be great.
Why?
Because there's a book called The Long and Short of It by, I can't remember the guy's name. Binet is one of the last names of the guys. But they say that like your marketing spend should be 60% long-term brand building and 40% like immediate activation and the idea is that not only do most people not think about you, most people don't think about you at all. They don't even know that you exist. But if you're around on a regular basis and people are like, oh yeah, this institution in Baltimore, we do help. And then when they're at that point where they're like, I need some help, you will be in their mind first.
Yeah, people are hesitant around doing big brand plays like that because they don't get the immediate return.
Yeah, and it's hard to justify to the CFO, But I think that plus a PR push, like a regular PR push, not just like here's one article every 6 months, but just like, it's the same sort of thing as a listicle, You send the article version of listicle to...
I forgot about listicle.
Right? But if you send
skyscraping.
Yeah, right. But if you send something like that to the Baltimore Sun, they may publish it. They may just say, hey, you're going into winter,
There is so much provider healthcare type things can get PR so easily. You host a blood drive, you do this, you have this thing where you help this family. Oh my God, healthcare. And Michael is spot on, guys. LLMs take into account reputation where Google didn't in the past. They take on reputation, so the reviews matter, and brand and press mentions matter a ton. So all of the online PR, all the PR people around the country that have been sidelined for the last 10 years, you're like, yes, we matter again.
You've always mattered. You've always mattered.
You'll always matter. I've always done PR. We got into the Wall Street Journal in 2008 from Hero, answering a question at like 11 o'clock at night. It was the coolest thing that ever happened to us, and we loved it when we were little hood rats.
It's one of these...
But it ranks, and when we go to Google and we type, why does Cardinal rank so well in the LLM? It says, because your reputation, because you have these press mentions. I'm like, holy shit, it's way more sophisticated than Google. It never looked at that.
And so one of these, like a Wall Street Journal article is like being hit by a nice meteor, Like it changes things overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it did for you guys, but...
No, it didn't at all. But we went and got drunk in Charleston and picked up every Charleston Post and Courier because it's the only place the Wall Street Journal publishes on site. We had a party weekend and we thought we were so special. No, but the backlink certainly helped. And we got ranked the #1 for Atlanta SEO company. And then, 9 months later, we got tons of leads. Michael is spot on, guys. Like the press mentions, that is where we're telling everybody, go get your PR spun back up. If you could give one piece of advice, I got one more question for you. If you could give one piece of advice to healthcare marketers that they don't often hear, what would it be?
Think systems. I think everyone is in a silo. I think that like if you're in SEO, you do SEO, you don't do anything else. I think if you're in paid search, you do paid search, nothing else. And I think that like it's the systems behind it, like Google Ads, how that ties into a CRM, how that like I would be reluctant to work with a mental health agency if they didn't have a good intake system. Like you can do all the lead gen you want, bring people to the door, but if they don't know how to answer the phone, so I think systems thinking and seeing how all the things interconnect is really important, because doing SEO in a vacuum is not going to help. Like
we talk all the time about MOPS, marketing and ops alignment. That's basically what you're talking about. It's like, guys, your job's not to get ranked. Your job is to drive patients in the door. So
that's precisely it. And so like I know my background is SEO and that's what I do. I also do CRM, but I really think it's important to have paid and organic social search. If you were a healthcare practice and you rank number one in organic, you rank in 3-pack, and you were in the ads as well, that's the kind of signal that people get. They're like, okay, well, they're serious, at the very minimum. I think that's almost like table stakes at this point. You have to have all three or else you're not going to be credible.
They want to see you everywhere, even if they end up clicking the ad or the organic or whatever. And you're like, man, PPC's not driving that many leads. Yeah, but like it helped contribute to getting the maps of the organic lead. We used to have a billboard in Atlanta that said SEO plus PPC equals ROI.
Yeah. Exactly, 100%.
They take you serious. What is the word you use? Serious? Is it, they take you serious? That's a perfect way to put it.
But I think for like if you're in the business and like if you're in SEO or if you're in PPC, you have to understand everything and how everything connects, the systems that support them and that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, buddy. So what you're saying is learn everything. Don't specialize. I agree too, because the AI is obviously going to take siloed button pushing work here over the next few years. So your job is to write content. You're already done. If your job is to make pretty pictures, you're kind of almost done.
Yeah.
If your job is to orchestrate the lead driving, patient converting machine, you're never done. Advertising will always exist. Content and differentiation through expertise will always exist. Michael, this was one of my favorites. This is good.
Those skills that you get from understanding systems apply directly to understanding AI and LLMs. Like if you know how to do it conceptually and understand the linkages between the systems that your clients use, but all the systems that you use, once you get in front of an AI, you can ask the right questions and direct it in the right direction.
I can tell I'm not asking the right directions because I'm still getting juvenile. I get juvenile answers because I'm juvenile. And I'm like, well, what the f*** did you see
that's
in
your
that?
charm, Alex. That's your charm.
Yeah, that's the charm. My wife, tell her. The prompt engineering. I mean, it's clear humans aren't going to lose their jobs to humans. They're going to lose their jobs to humans that know how to use the robots. And you're absolutely right. Ask the right questions. Learn the systems. Understand how the whole marketing spiel. I think I wrote something the other day on LinkedIn that was probably fed to me that to not make marketing a cost center, you have to justify the return. And if we guys, marketing, if we just keep talking about the rankings, the traffic, and even just the leads that we're driving, we're done. You're done. We're done. It's getting too sophisticated of a world.
Yeah, and also you have to think I think people really have to think of marketing as an investment as opposed to a cost center. Like if you think of it as a cost center, you're always going to cut when times get rough. But if you think of it as an investment, But like I really think of it as like I just finished up this thing called the Mini MBA in Marketing by Mark Ritson. Okay. Who, if you haven't listened to Mark Ritson, listen to Mark Ritson. He's really funny. He's a really sarcastic guy.
Cool. I like it.
His whole point is that like marketing should be involved with pricing. Marketing should be involved with strategy.
Of course.
It can't be here's all this stuff and we'll give it to marketing and they think they're going to get it done. I mean, I know that's the case, and that's
no. And you know who does that? What you're saying better than anyone is the car dealer, the car manufacturers. Ford goes to the marketing team and says, "What kind of car should we go build?"
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for small clinics or anything, but I think it does require a certain mindset that doesn't exist a lot in this world.
Yeah. And if you want to know where the next trend is going, look at what the private equity groups are buying out. And right now it's like metaesthetics and cash pay and infusion and all kinds of like holistic medicine because they see that's where things are going.
It's the whole Brian Johnson thing, like it's
this guy. Yeah, dude, have a cigarette or something, dude.
I know
you're too much. It's too much. Who wants to live like that? 100 pills and perfect health? Like, no. After this, I'm going to have an IPA as soon as it turns 2.
Hypobaric chamber? No, thanks.
No.
I'll have a steak. Thanks.
Yes. Life is for living. That guy is going to die at 180 and never lived a day in his life. No, thank you.
No, thank you. But I think your point, like about the private equity, like these I won't call them niche treatments, but certainly not like core treatments. I think that like one place I think if there's any marketer out there that's looking for something is like men's aesthetic surgery type stuff. Like I think that barriers
totally. Got a hair transplant last year. It's totally a thing. Yeah. And we just brought on one of the largest men's health groups and PRP, TRT, aesthetics, the Botox groups. We're bringing on a large aesthetics group and they care about reaching the men, not as much as the women, obviously, but it's a thing.
But there's a huge market there. Yeah.
Still got wrinkles and now guys are toning other wrinkles because we're all looking at these videos all day of ourselves and we're like, that looks kind of shitty. Michael, this was fun, guys. Y'all got to go find. Where do you find you?
I'm on LinkedIn. the worst social network in the world.
No, LinkedIn is awesome. Why don't you like it? Because it's filled with dumb personal shit now? That's the problem.
No, I don't like the dumb personal shit. Although I did go down a rabbit hole in terms of like researching Coldplay yesterday.
Oh, because of the, StubHub just posted an ad that cracks me up. That's making fun of it. It said, "Bring your HR manager to the next Coldplay concert. Buy tickets." She was a chief people officer. No, it's not an HR manager.
No,
Michael
I just find your posts are good. There are a couple other people's posts that I like, but for the vast majority, like LinkedIn is self-serving.
Yeah, look how awesome I am. Look how awesome I am.
Yeah, you're the best.
Well, yesterday I posted bloopies that were just F-bombs, so we're trying to change it up a little bit and not show how awesome we are. Michael, this was awesome. Find him, Michael Stevenson. He's in Washington, D.C., Baltimore area if you need to look for where he is. He went to Arizona State, which I hear is not a fun school. Michael, thank you for joining us on Ignite.
Thank you very much, Alex. It's been a pleasure. Nice chatting and a pleasure working with your team as well. They're all great.